Hiya guys, right, here's a quick, nice easy recipe and it'll fill up your freezer lovely. I've just got a board full there of just vegetables, but make sure you've got more onions than you've got anything else. The onions is what gives you all the flavour. I'm just going to chop them up. I've got some cabbage there, onions, carrots. Now these are the spices. I've got some basic Tesco's curry powder, just a medium curry powder, some turmeric, some garam masala, salt and pepper. That's what's going to give you all the flavour, those spices. I've got some fresh spices or fresh flavourings as well, which is a couple of red chilies, some fresh ginger, fresh garlic, a couple of sticks of cinnamon, and 6 to 8 cloves, and a little bag full of fresh coriander and parsley mixed, which I had in the freezer, so I've taken them out, and they'll just go in on top. Then I'll just literally, all them veg, I'm just going to chop it up. Note a nice quick and easy way of doing a pepper. There we go, that's all the seeds gone. Bish. And then I'm just going to crack on and just chop up all the veg, and you just want it chunky. Notice when I'm peeling this swede, I'm moving the knife away from me, not towards me. So many accidents, people cutting towards themselves. If you notice what size chunks I'm looking for, this is what the turnip's going to look like. This is the right size. We're just looking for a chunky cut. That goes into the pan. From now on, we're going to start filling a big silver pan. It's a 10 pint pan, so you're looking at just over a gallon. Chop all the carrots up. I don't think you need to see me chop them all up. I've got about 6 or 7 carrots there, so we'll chop all them up and put them in the top of the pan. Notice nothing small, it's all chunky. That's the way we want it. Cabbage, cut the stalk out, because you could use the stalk, but it takes a long time for it to break down. Same with the cabbage, nice big chunks. Get it into the top of the pan, and slowly but surely this pan's filling up, and it's all cheap stuff. There's nothing really expensive here. I've used a bit of cabbage, some carrots, a bit of turnip, 2 peppers. I've got 8 to 10 onions though. That's the main flavouring in this base curry. Onions, just chop them up. Same again, same as the last ones, nice and chunky. Do the same with the leeks. Just chop them up chunky, they're all the same size, and it'll all cook down together. There we go, that's all the onions in the pan. Now, that's the peppers chopped up, chunky again. Please don't try and be precise with it. There we go. That's all in the pan. Notice how full the pan is becoming. But all that is going to cook down. You'll be surprised by the time we've finished how high the veg is above the lip of the pan. But they will all cook down, especially the cabbage. The cabbage will just sink down. There's the leeks, and I'll put the celery on the top of that as well. Tomatoes, just chop them up chunky like everything else. I won't show you cutting them all, but I think there was 6 tomatoes. Just chop them up, put them in the top of the pan, and the half a lemon that you saw you need lemon. You need some sort of vinegar or something that will give a bit of a tang. Tamarind if you've got it, but half a lemon will do. And here's the flavourings basically. So I've got a couple of red chilies. They're not really red hot ones. I'm not looking for a spicy sauce, base gravy. I'm just looking for flavour at the moment. If I'm going to make a spicy curry, then I can add extra spices to it. The ginger, I didn't bother peeling the first 2 bits. Just give them a good wash. The other piece of ginger I did actually peel because the skin looked a bit dodgy. But I'm just putting the flat of my knife on it, crushing it down, chopping it into chunks. I've got 4 bay leaves, put the 4 bay leaves in, 2 sticks of cinnamon, they can go in the top, and then I've got 6, 8 cloves, just put them in, and then the garlic. I'm not going to chop it up, all I'm looking for is just to remove the peel, the outer casing, because it does get stuck in your teeth. But I'm not chopping it, I'm literally just crushing it down so I can take the skin off and putting it on top of the pan. Once you've got all your veg chopped up, put it on your stove, and then you want half a cup of sunflower oil. Now I'm doing a large pan, a 10-pint pan, so I'm using half a cup of oil, but you do need that oil. That helps to bring out all the flavours of the spices. Now I'm going to 2/3 fill it with water, so you want the water 2/3 up the side of the pan. So you're not looking to fill it to the brim, because just remember you've got all that veg and it will sink down once it comes to the boil. I'm putting a tablespoon of turmeric in, that's mainly for colour, a little bit of flavour as well. And then this is the Communal Garden Tesco's supermarket own brand curry powder, and it's just called medium curry powder. You can use a madras, use whichever one you fancy using. I put 4 tablespoons of that in, and then I want a tablespoon of salt on the top, and then half a tablespoon of black pepper, ground or powdered form. Now I'm gonna, that's the garam masala. I will put that in once it's been cooking for an hour, because otherwise if we put it in too early you'll lose that flavour. Right, so now it's on the stove, it's on top, it's on the highest I could put it on. I've put a lid on, and that helps it come to the boil quicker. Once it does come to the boil, start simmering, I'm going to put 1.5 tablespoons of sugar in the top. Now I didn't put it in at the beginning because if I know what I'm like. If it boiled over and there was sugar in that mix, it's going to make a right mess of my stovetop. Nothing worse than burnt sugar on your stovetop. So there we go. And we notice how much all the veg is sunk down, and it hasn't even come to the proper boil yet. So yes, you can stuff loads of veg into that pan. Slowly but surely it's going to come to the boil. I'll put the lid on just so it will come back to the boil. Once it does come back to the boil, we'll take the lid off. I've now put the herbs in, and then I'm just going to literally let it simmer for an hour before I need to do anything else. Once the hour's up, I put my garam masala in, which is 2 tablespoons, and now this is going to cook for another half an hour. Once it's cooked for that extra half an hour, everything is soft, everything is tender, and either get your liquidizer or a stick blender. I like to use a stick blender, it's a lot less messy, a lot less washing up, and I'm just going to take it over to my kitchen bench. I'm going to put my liquidizer in it, my hand blender in it, and blend it down. Nice and easy. There we go. And this is what it looks like 5 minutes later. So you've got a nice thick, and this is what's called a base gravy. Right, with this base gravy, I'll put it back on the stove and let it simmer just for 5 minutes, and that's it. And then I'll show you quickly how to make a quick beef curry, the way my dad likes it. If you look in the back of that picture there's a little pan. It had some diced beef in it, which I simmered for an hour with salt and pepper, teaspoon of turmeric, and some water. I've got an onion in a pan, which I've been frying now for 10 minutes. Just a slow fry, and notice it's just starting to get a little bit of colour to it. So I'm going to take the beef out of that pan, put it into the pan with my onions and a teaspoon of tomato paste, and I'm just going to give it a stir around. I'm trying to get the meat covered in the tomato paste because that will caramelise and give it flavour. I'll fry this for about 2 minutes now. Just the onions, the bay leaf, the beef. Notice the beef has been cooking for an hour beforehand. Then a segmented, quartered tomato, just one tomato. I'll put that in with it. Let that fry for about a minute. And then I'm going to go ahead and just put my base gravy in. Now the base gravy, when I put the base gravy in, I'll just going to put enough just to cover the meat. Because what I'll do is I'm going to add, say, half a cup of water to it, and that'll thin down the gravy. But by the time I've cooked it for 20-25 minutes on the stove, that extra water that I put in will have evaporated and will be back to this same consistency as sauce. So, because we're not looking to get it any thicker, because that's plenty thick enough. But notice how thick that sauce is, and we haven't put any flour or thickening agents in it. It's literally just the vegetables, which is full of flavour. There we go. I've just put my half cup of water in. I'll give that a stir around, and then I'm going to leave it to simmer for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, I'm going to put a teaspoon of garam masala in. Notice a colour change because it's been cooking now. But teaspoon of garam masala, 10 minutes before it's ready. I'm going to let that simmer for 10 minutes, which is what I've just done. And there we go, a quick beef curry. Now with this, the rest of the curry sauce that I've got, I'm literally just going to put it into plastic containers, Tupperware boxes, and put piles of them in the freezer. Every time we're looking for a curry, take one of them out. Perfect. Cheers. Hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed.